thinking it was pretty awesome. And awesome until one woman who was talking to me, I was like, God, I could just listen to this broad go on, and great rack, and I'll just sit here and stare and listen to her talk because, no idea what she's saying or what she's talking about because she was kind of a mindless idiot. But still, nevertheless, it was good times. It was a good olfactory experience, if you know what I mean. And we got to the point in the conversation where she was like, you're cute, you're adorable. I was like, oh, thanks. And she was like, I could just sop you up with a biscuit. I was like, oh. I don't know why, but being compared to gravy is the ultimate is the ultimate killer of stiffness in this particular situation. It went from like, oh, yeah, I'd like to be, what, biscuit, gravy? No.
I'd like to be sopped up in gravy.
You'd like to
by a nice southern drawl. Yeah. A little molasses in there, too, dripping off the side of your mouth there. Yeah.
Nah, trust me. Especially because, the other thing that I couldn't get along with in the South was, that white gravy stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's strange.
I love Southern cooking. I really do. It's diabetes waiting to happen. Diabetes waiting to happen. But that white gravy is just it's like snot with pepper in it. It's not okay.
And as it cools down, it gets more and more congealed.
Yeah.
And then we have that around Thanksgiving, right? And then by the time you actually dig into it, it's like, oh, Jell-O.
Yeah. It was
on the dip.
Yeah, it was like a meaty, snotty Jell-O, and it's just no thanks.
Sorry, Soup Plantation.
Yes.
If you're listening to our show right now, eating the all-you-can-eat buffet at Soup Plantation.
Man, when I first came to this country, I was still a vegan, and places like Soup Plantation were a revelation to me. I was like, it's just soup and it's just salad? That's fantastic. This is I can actually eat at this restaurant. And they have those little containers of chicken you can buy for $8. It's like, here's 2 cubes of chicken you can put on your salad to make it into a meal. But I didn't need that back in the day. I was like, salad, baked potato, vegetarian chili, boom. I am ready to rock. And now that I eat meat again, don't know what I was thinking for all those years. Now I'm making up for lost time and eating meat again. Whenever I go into Soup Plantation or Sweet Tomatoes, I think they're called in some parts of the country. I think it's the same company.
Sure.
Yeah, it's and what's the other one?
Hometown
Super Salad
Buffet.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, these are Hometown Buffet has, Salisbury steaks and stuff. But if you go to the Soup Plantation, which is mostly just soups and salads and cornbread, I can eat myself into oblivion where I'm sat there like Jabba the Hutt, unable to move because I'm so full. But I'll still feel like at the end of it, all right, now I'm ready for a piece of chicken or something like that. It's
Famous
the weirdest
last words,
thing.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
When you have that mashed potato and gravy in your mouth, that's ice cream. And then that's it.
Unlimited ice cream. It's funny. I used to
Maybe a couple
endorse
of sprinkles. That's fine.
I used to endorse a really good. It wasn't Mexican. Calling it Mexican was a bit of a misnomer. It was sort of like Mexican-esque food called burritos that they have in the South, which is really good. It's really good. It's sort of like a very Americanized take on a very Americanized take on Mexican food. And they didn't have freezers there. Nothing was ever frozen. It was delicious. It was fresh. And, man, so effing good. Really, really good food. But the one thing that I cottoned on to was the fact that they had one of those soda machines that could make 500 different variations on a theme. You know those? They have them in movie theaters a lot now in some restaurants.
Vanilla cherry diet sprinkle Coca-Cola Max.
Yeah,
Zero.
I think they have them in Fuddruckers too. But they had root beer, and so I did these commercials for them where I talked about how delicious the food was and how it was cool that you could order with the app and all those sort of things that they had going for them, which was a lot. Really, really good food. And one thing that I realized when I was in there, I was like, hey, there's unlimited ice cream here. Oh, they have a soda machine too, which has everything in it, including root beer. And so I did this commercial about how you could get unlimited root beer floats at burritos at burritos for free. And they're like, dude, the entire city is coming in and just ordering a piece of lettuce and then having root beer floats. Stop it. I was like, whoops. small oversight there. And they're like, no, we like your enthusiasm. and that's true. We noticed that, but we should have mentioned we didn't want the entire city to notice that for the price of like one curly fry, you could eat as many root beer floats as you wanted.
Hey, advertising works.
Yeah, it
You
does.
too can be part of this prime demographic.
All right, what else? What's going on?
The University of Michigan developed a plan to eradicate polio.
I thought we were done with polio. I didn't realize
What
that was
year
still
is
a
it?
thing.
1940?
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to believe we're still fighting polio. One of those things that you have to be reminded every couple of years that it's still around. It's kind of like the David Spade of diseases. Oh, it still exists. Go on.
Unfrosted Pop-Tarts have more calories than frosted Pop-Tarts?
Oh, wow. Which is great information for the 3 Pop-Tart buyers in the world who actually count calories. I don't think anybody looks at Pop-Tarts and goes, these would be more slimming.
What about do you eat Pop-Tarts?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, I mean, not often.
I like
They're
the
so
fruit-filled
dry.
ones, but there's people out there that eat the chocolatey stuff with the cinnamon, and I just can't get behind that.
The brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts
Yeah.
are my favorite. Yeah,
Oh, really?
I'm yeah, big fan of those. But I like cinnamon on anything, like cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns, cinnamon in my coffee, cinnamon.
I'm a fruit guy. I like fruit. In
I
my
do like-
Pop-Tarts.
Do they make? Yeah, it's just and I don't like the chocolate ones. The chocolate ones are just I don't know. They don't jive well
just weird.
with me. Yeah, but I like the brown sugar cinnamon ones. Those are my favorite. The fruit ones don't taste fruity enough. Like there's
Fruit
just such a
paste.
thin layer of jam or whatever the hell it is in there, and I need a little bit more. I need like if I'm going to eat something with fruit in it, I like a cup of yogurt with fruit at the bottom, or I like a Danish with actual pieces of fruit in it. It's too much of a fruity tease, so to speak, to eat a fruit flavored
There's probably
Pop-Tart.
not
So I'm gonna
any fruit in a fruit Pop-Tart, if you think about it.
It's a fruity tease. I know there is sugar, and I know there's cinnamon in the brown sugar cinnamon. So there you go. Go ahead.
Studies show the obesity epidemic is getting even worse.
Yeah. I wonder if Republicans consider this a victory over Michelle Obama. Ha ha! You tried, but we're getting fatter and fatter. Too bad the base is dying off as they celebrate. Go on.
Craft beers are more likely to give you man boobs.
Bad news for hipsters, because that's one thing they can't say they had before the rest of the general population. I had moobs first. In related news, most of my coworkers now 42 triple D. Go on.
And I love my craft beers too. Ask my moobs. Yeah. A Georgia woman was busted stealing 131 pairs of underwear from Walmart.
Really?
Yes.
A woman stole 131 pairs of underwear from a Walmart. Sounds like quite a snatch.
Oh. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Yeah, pretty much it's all downhill from here.
Good one.
I had that, and that's There endeth the comedic content of the show today. The rest is just going to be a bunch of near misses and failed attempts. Go on.
Well, there's a man in a Norwegian man. He spent 6 years crocheting a map.
Wait, no.
I'll tell you later. How
Come
about
back.
that?
Say it with me. Crocheting a map.
I can't, obviously.
But you don't usually crochet maps. It's words out of context that aren't usually used with one
I
another.
read it as crotchet, so.
Well, we did talk about the woman snatching underwear.
USA Headline News. I'm Kelly Sloan. Leaders are calling for the removal of the Confederate flag from the State House grounds in South Carolina, and presidential candidate Lindsey Graham is adding his name to the list. Yesterday, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley held a press conference.
The fact that people are choosing to use it as a sign of hate is something that we cannot stand. The fact that it causes pain to so many is enough to move it from the Capitol grounds.
The General Assembly will meet Tuesday, and they can vote to debate the issue. Searchers are swarming through the woods west west of the prison in northern New York, where 2 convicted killers escaped more than 2 weeks ago. Authorities say they have recovered items from a hunting cabin that might be linked to Richard Matt and David Sweat. Meanwhile, the husband of prison employee Joyce Mitchell, who is accused of helping them escape, is speaking out.
Do I still love her? Yes. Am I mad? Yes. How could she do this? How could she do it to our kids?
That was Lyle Mitchell on NBC's Today Show. This is USA Headline News.
Did you know that by losing just 10 pounds, you could reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and arthritis by a whopping 50%? Hi, how in the world are you anyway? I'm Andy Willoughby from ILikeHowILook.com. I have found something that could help you lose 10 to 15 pounds in the next 30 days without starving yourself or exercising to exhaustion. Just go to ILikeHowILook.com and watch the short video. ILikeHowILook.com uses hydrolyzed collagen protein to help you lose weight and tone up. They also have a thermogenic capsule that could curb your appetite, improve your mood, give you more energy, and the best part is that it burns fat like a blowtorch. I introduced this to some of my friends a few months ago. Within just a couple of weeks, most were losing weight and dropping dress and pant sizes faster than they could buy new clothes. So watch the video at ILikeHowILook.com, and maybe soon you'll be saying, I like how I look.
In soccer at the Women's World Cup, Team USA shut out Colombia 2-0. Alex Morgan and Carly Lloyd had the goals as the U.S. advances to face China in the next round on Friday. Now, the U.S. was heavily favored in this game, yet it was scoreless at the half. U.S. finally got things going in the second half. Alex Morgan, who scored the first goal, talked about the USA turning things around in the second half.
I think we really just said to be patient. You know, we were really impatient. We were rushing it a lot on the attack in the first half. So it was just to be patient, believe in ourselves, and know that just the level of fitness that we have, we're going to break teams down a little bit more in the second half, and I think that's what happened a little bit.
In the NFL, New England Patriots star quarterback Tom Brady will have the appeal of his 4-game suspension from Deflategate heard by Commissioner Roger Goodell at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time today. A ruling by Goodell on the appeal is expected in late July. In baseball games, a note, the Cubs beat the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw 4-2. It was the Angels over the Astros 4-3. Albert Pujols with a pair of homers.
We are one more. iHeartRadio puts the spotlight on AC/DC. AC/DC was formed in 1973 by Angus and Malcolm Young in Sydney, Australia. The brothers came up with the name, an abbreviation for alternating current direct current electricity, when their sister saw it on a sewing machine. Their older brother was a member of the Easy Beats, one of Australia's most successful bands of the 60s, who had an international hit with Friday on My Mind. The group's original lineup included bassist Larry Von Crite, drummer Colin Burgess, and singer Dave Evans, though Evans was replaced by Bon Scott in 1974. By that time, Angus Young was already wearing a school uniform as his on-stage costume. In 1975, AC/DC released their debut album, High Voltage, which was recorded in only 10 days in Australia. Mark Evans and Phil Rudd replaced Van Crite and Burgess after the album, and the new lineup released their follow-up, TNT, later in 1975.
'Cause I'm TNT, I'm dynamite.
A compilation of both albums was released internationally in 1976. Following 1977's Let There Be Rock, Evans was dropped and was replaced by Cliff Williams. All things AC/DC, info, music, and more are on iHeartRadio, keyword AC/DC.
And now, a look back at This Week in History.
Hi, I'm Chris, and this week in 1509, Henry VIII was crowned King of England. You best protect your neck. Napoleon abdicated his throne for the second time in 1815 after his defeat at Waterloo. June 25th, 1876, Custer and his troops were wiped out at the Battle of Little Bighorn. The first Grand Prix motor race was held in France this week in 1906. In 1912, the Oreo cookie was invented by Nabisco. Archduke Ferdinand and his wife were assassinated. June 28, 1914, setting off World War I. And this week in 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, ending the war. I'm Chris, and that's This Week in History.
Go ahead, favorite the show, and enjoy AD on the go. iHeartRadio presents AD.
All right, Funkhauser. We will continue the talk of a more serious nature after we finish rolling through the news. What else has been going on in the world? Have we figured out how to say crocheting a map?
I think so.
Okay, let's give this a go.
A Norwegian man spent 6 years crocheting a map of Super Mario Brothers 3.
He celebrated his accomplishment with all of his friends. In other words, he celebrated alone. Terribly, terribly, and forever alone. Go on.
He's currently trying to warp to a new world. The FDA banned trans fats.
Yep. So the Obama